uh, Tim Power. So there is a statement that says that if your enemy is making a mistake, you should not correct him or her. Uh, Fortunately, in the issue that I wish to put my input, I do not see enemies. Personally, I do not even see adversary. I see Zimbabweans. And it is important to note that I cannot say that I would rather ignore my enemies and let them make the mistake that they are making, because like I said, I do not see enemies. I see Zimbabweans that are bound by the same interest, an interest to see an economic system that works for all, and that makes opportunity for all clear enough for all to see and for all to benefit from. So we need to separate two issues. First and foremost is the issue around Resolution 1, the ZANU-PF Resolution 1, that we all, as members and supporters of ZANU-PF, believe in. And based on the work that we have been seeing, or we have seen since 2017 to date, we in our movement, we are proud of the work that is being done under the wise leadership of Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa. And that is our position as ZANU-PF, and it's a position that has been born out of a constitutional and democratic process within the Patriotic Liberation Movement. And it's something that is solid in our perspective. However, we continue to see confusion being born out of maybe desperation of those that are opposed to ZANU-PF and its leadership, that they would rather create an environment of chaos by misleading the masses at the expense of continued accelerated development, which is, to me, feels and sounds very, very evil when one says that development cannot be called development as long as it is being done by ZANU-PF, that they expect to be failing and making grave mistakes. ZANU-PF transformed itself since 2017, and it chose to follow a development path that is set and will not be challenged by anything as long as ZANU-PF remains the governing party. That position is to be accepted by all peace-loving Zimbabweans. So now we are faced with a intentional contradiction that is being forwarded by those that are claiming to have facts against amendment number 3, which is a separate issue from resolution 1. Amendment number 3 is a Zimbabwean constitutional process, and the ZANU-PF constitutional process depends on the Zimbabwean constitutional process to be aligned to its what we aspire to achieve as a liberation movement. So if one then comes and debate amendment number 3, basing their argument on resolution number 1, it becomes a problem. A problem in this sense that it is profitable for those that are opposed to amendment number 3 to misinterpret it as resolution number 1. We wish to get there. We wish to get there, but we are not there yet. And I am recording this video to challenge Zimbabweans to go through our constitution, study it. It's our constitution, and every one of us has to understand it and how it's structured and for what purposes it's structured. Every one of us. Tese, I will not, as a ZANU-PF member and committed supporter, subcontract the understanding of the constitution to Comrade Ziyambi or Baba Chinamasa, so that I will tell myself that whatever Ziyambi says is correct, or whatever Chinamasa says is correct. Yes, I will hear from them as my comrades, but I will go back then to the very constitution to understand what they are saying. And this is how ZANU-PF operates. ZANU-PF operates by empowering the individual to make personal choices guided by the values that shape the patriotic liberation movement, ZANU-PF. That reality is not real in the opposition. We have got a people that are lazy to make their own decisions, to make their own choices, and subcontract that to people that claim to be leading them. Today we are faced with a challenge as a people. There is no harmony, and it's because of, excuse me for my stupid leaders that would rather fool our people into certain emotions and feelings just to forward their personal interest, because they fear becoming irrelevant politically and economically. We have got opposition leaders that depend on chaos for them to put a meal on their table. opposition leaders that have got nothing to offer economically, who then get to a position where they say to themselves, if we are not part of the development that is going on, there should not be any development. A selfish and evil position for any person that claims to be a leader to be on. Personally, on a personal position, I am pained to see a father like President Emmerson Mnangagwa having to work on a daily basis to make things right for a nation that he loves, and to be put in a position where even if he does not want to continue, he must be forced to. I am pained. But it's a different issue when it comes to amendment number 3, because it's not talking about President Emmerson Mnangagwa. It's talking about the office of the president. The office of the president, why should it be given 7 years? It should be given 7 years for policy continuation. As a Christian, I believe that 7 is a number that represents completion. And basing our argument on that is a form of faith in what must be achieved by Zimbabwe before 2030. I would love to see Comrade Mnangagwa, Emmerson Mnangagwa, continue beyond 2030 if he feels the strength. But as far as I'm concerned, he has said, I do not wish to continue beyond 2028. And to me, that position on how I engage with his leadership becomes law until he changes his mind. If he changes his mind and he makes a decision that is economically based, it becomes again law to me, especially if the majority of ZANU-PF membership endorse it. So that's a resolution number 1 on its own, and amendment number 3 on its own. Why give Parliament such power to elect a president? It's to inspire accountability. If you're a member of Parliament that you see, or you should see every day in your constituency, is given a direction by you, the electorate, to say that because of what we have been seeing happening in our constituency under so and so's leadership, or what we see happening because of such a manifesto from such a movement, we want that person, your voice should elect that person. This is a direction. That when that has happened, when you need to condemn inaction or lack of development, you do not have to organize the whole country to confront one person. You organize your constituency to confront your member of parliament. So there's nothing wrong with that. Then some talk about, the amendment seeks to make the chiefs politically aligned. No one is it's not okay, rather, to say that a chief must not have a party that they support. Before he becomes a chief, he is an individual. And the same process that I spoke of towards your parliamentarian applies to your chief, wherever you are, in his rights. But our constitution charges those that are empowered by the constitution to be apolitical in terms of decisions that they make on behalf of the people, as directed by the people. So the arguments that are being brought up by those that are opposed to amendment number 3 are falling short of many facts that are constitutional. I am saying this to whoever is listening so that you do not get fooled to become instruments of violence as this issue progresses. The constitutional way to object to this amendment is via consulting your member of parliament and those that are authorized by the constitution to lead in those consultations. There is no other way. There is no need for anyone to be led into the streets to defend anything. There is the constitution that directs how these issues are dealt with. But in part of ZANU-PF, amendment number 3 is a done deal because we have got a majority in parliament. So do not be led into the streets with irrelevant arguments. And let no one fool you. The individual economic capacity for all of us that strengthens our economy is dependent on every Zimbabwean individual, without thinking of political affiliation. We are not in election period. There is no need for a referendum for amendment number 3 to sail through. And the process that is ongoing is constitutional. I'm sure now we are left with about 70 days or so until this bill is forwarded to parliament. So if I can study the constitution with my academic level, I'm a technical person, not academic. But if I can study the constitution and come up with these facts that are represented by the constitution, then majority of our academic people must understand it without being fooled into irrelevant arguments. Resolution number 1 is a ZANU-PF resolution. Amendment number 3, it's national. It does not look at party affiliation. It does not look at desires of a political party. As we go ahead as ZANU-PF, if President Mnangagwa is willing to go for those 2 years, then yes, there will be a need for a referendum to change that part of the constitution that prohibits the incumbent to benefit from the term extension. So, and we are not afraid of a referendum. We are the political majority, with no doubt. We are not scared of a referendum, especially today, where notable developments are there for everyone to see. So we will not be bullied into submission by social media influencers that are stationed in the diaspora, who do not have the reality on the ground. So it's important to know that if anything that contradicts with our state of peace, law, and order transpires because of this amendment, the Constitution charges those that are authorized to restore peace, law, and order to act. And it's not political, it's constitutional. So before we go there, we need to have an understanding, all of us, far from party politics, that amendment number 3 is a process that seeks to empower NDS2, which specifies our development thrust. And that position cannot be negotiated by anyone, be it local people that are in disagreement with it, be it the international community, especially the international community. We do not brook interference in our internal affairs. What we are suggesting as a people is meant to benefit our people based on the reality that we have on the ground. After over 2 decades of illegal economic sanctions imposed on our people to force them to overthrow a democratic government, we are not going to negotiate or even sugarcoat it. We are doing this as Zimbabweans and forwarding this as members of the Patriotic Liberation Movement, ZANU-PF, for the benefit of our people, for the benefit of our economy. Today we are more sure of the plans that we put in place because we have broken a case, economic case, that started when I was 7 years old. It's over 3 decades of hyperinflation. Today we sit on now less than 4% in ZiG terms. So we will not be fooled into agreeing that no, amendment number 3 is wrong and it's political. It's not political. It's economic. And this is our economic reality of where we are. We want a place that empowers our people to work, give them real statistics, business statistics, that will develop their personal lives to benefit our economy. So anyone who comes to you and says that, oh, we are being stopped from exercising our rights you are not going to be allowed to tarnish our image as a country just because you want to say whatever you want to say, even though it doesn't make sense. We are standing on a critical juncture where we cannot fail. We are telling ourselves that we are not going to fail at this thrust. It's 2026 already. It's 4 years to 2030. What we do today determines if we manage to deliver home to our people their peace dividend. And that is not negotiable. And it's important that to understand that what was gained by sacrifice will be protected by sacrifice. Every Zimbabwean must understand that. We have got our land under our control. We have got our mineral endowment under our control. And we wish to make those things benefit all of our people, regardless of political affiliation rather. So we can not, even if we want to, we cannot tolerate people that come and throw spanners. This is a technical approach. We are tired of so-called academics that will come with the many theories that do not make sense to the majority, just to fool them into agreeing to some nonsense ideology or whatever you call it. And this is not a violence declaration. There was a time where ZANU-PF would deploy violence. As members of ZANU-PF, we rejected it and said that youth are not going to be used as instruments of violence. And no one must have the monopoly to violence, apart from state, if need be. So, we want to inspire more harmony. We want to inspire more peace. We want to inspire more collaboration over competition. Because that is the only path that all of us can benefit from this development thrust. So let no one fool you into getting angry on behalf of egocentric politicians that are worried only about gaining evil donor funds that are targeted at inspiring confusion in our system that has been working. Development is not an overnight thing. Under the leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa through TSP and DS1, Zimbabwe has established a firm economic foundation. NDS2 is calling for national collaboration for all these things to work. Those that are opposed to ZANU-PF, that wish to see ZANU-PF make mistakes, have stood up today. Because they wish to see confusion and continuous blame games against the ZANU-PF that we obliterated in 2017 through Operation Restore Legacy. We cannot continue in this path as Zimbabweans. If you look at the ghetto, there is nothing to smile about. Look at the youth that are wallowing in the diaspora. There's nothing to smile about. I have seen it with my own eyes. I have seen my sisters becoming dependent to prostitution. I've seen my brothers becoming dependent in crime. I have seen the name of our great nation being pulled through mud because we have got an opposition that wants to continue doing the same thing that it has been doing for the past 27 years now, expecting different results. An economy is built by its own people. And in Zimbabwe, there is an economic vacuum that should be filled by Zimbabweans, the same Zimbabweans that are being misled. We cannot have it anymore. And my generation is tired. So let's be careful what we wish for. Because from where we are standing, where I am standing, we are willing to defend this development thrust against anything. May God bless you and your families, and may God bless our great motherland. Let peace prevail at all cost.